In this video, we're going to be looking at our Windows 10 operating system in case you're not familiar with how this is set up. So everybody's computer should have transitioned over from Windows 7 to Windows 10. And as you can see, it doesn't look dramatically different. Now, this background isn't the same as yours. This is a personal computer, but I'm showing you some of the key differences in Windows 10 that you didn't really have for Windows 7. Windows 7 was a very familiar operating system. It was the same thing as Windows XP with a few more features. It was very familiar if you were a Windows user. Now, if you were a Mac user, then none of these things were familiar, so you still had to learn a Windows 7 computer. With this, though, it hasn't really changed a whole lot. You still have your time, your volume, your internet settings, battery, that type of stuff down here. Now, you will see a notification center. So when I click on that, it will show me notifications that I have. So occasionally, you'll have a number down in the corner if you have an unread message. And these things are just there as notifications, kind of like your phone pushes out notifications for certain things. Nothing that will be extremely important, but it's also a quick way you can get to some of these settings on your computer. If you don't really feel like reading it or it's not intended for you, then you could just click that X and it goes away. Nothing to it. Let's go to the Start menu. The Start menu is in the same location, it just looks a little bit different. So it's in the bottom left corner. And when you click on it, that's going to be the most noticeable difference for Windows 10. It looks completely different than when you click on a Windows 7 computer. So over here on this side, these are what's called tiles, but this takes the place of pinning something to your Start menu. And the good thing is you can customize this as needed. So if I wanted to drag this webcam up, I could just drag it up and it drops into place, so it's very familiar. Also, if I wanted to extend this out, I could keep extending it on out to add more tiles, or I can bring it back in to adjust the size. There'll be some tiles that are already set up from Microsoft's own stuff that you may not want. Like I think Xbox was on there. I took that off of mine. In order to get rid of a tile, all you have to do is right click on it, and then we'll just hit Unpin from Start, and it goes away. It's that simple. Now let's say I want to add one of these things as a tile. So I use Acrobat Reader a good bit, and I want it to be kind of a quick access from the Start menu. So I'll just click on it and drag it over as a tile, and that's it. If I wanted to make it bigger or smaller, I can. So if I right click on it, I can click resize and I can go to small, and it'll make it even smaller to fit in. That's what I've done with these Microsoft ones so that they would all kind of fit in a row. So I'm going to resize that one back. And some of these things can be made even bigger. Like the news, I can resize and I can make it large to where it will be the largest thing on here. So let me just take it back down to wide. Over here on the left-hand side of the menu, you'll have your most used items first. That doesn't mean that these things have been things that you use all the time, but they're the things you click on the most as far as applications. And then below that, you'll have all of your applications listed in alphabetical order. So this is one of the biggest changes. You don't need to click on programs anymore. They're all here, right from the Start menu. Now, if you're not sure where to find something, you can always search for it on your computer. If you need to go into settings, there won't be a whole lot of reasons you need to go into settings, but now it's that gear. So in case you didn't see it, it's that gear right here on the side. And this looks completely different. You no longer have a control panel. Now, there won't be a whole lot you can change within this, but let's say you need to find how to do another display. Like you hooked up your projector to your computer and you know what? It's not copying your display. So I'm just going to type in display to see if I can find the settings. Well, project to a second screen. So I can click on that and it gives me those options right there. Also, you can read and it will give you a brief overview of what these things are. System is going to be where you're going to find most of the things that you need, like connecting to another display, making sure that some of these other parts of Windows 10 are to your liking, because there are a lot of things you can adjust, like multitasking. You can do that. We'll get more into that in another video, but this essentially is how Windows 10 is laid out. It's not dramatically different, but it does have a few key things as far as elements that make it really nice. Now, one thing that I am going to show you before this video is over is how to put something down here on your taskbar, because I like a few of these things, like the snipping tool. It's been one of those things that has been the biggest help to have down there, because I can just click on it and pull it up. So it's the same thing as these tiles. I can drag it down to the bottom and it puts it down there. So it couldn't be any simpler than that. If you have questions about Windows 10 and a few of these other features or how to navigate it, please contact your instructional technology personnel.